Welcome back to the Rescue Mission Podcast by City Vision University, where we bridge tradition and innovation. To help build that bridge, Season 1 of our podcast is focused on the history and values of rescue missions, while Season 2 is focused primarily on innovations and best practices relevant to rescue missions. You can find the show notes for this episode and subscribe to our newsletter at rescuemissions.cityvision.edu.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're talking about the absolute depths of city life, late 19th, early 20th centuries.
Yeah.
The source material we're diving into, it paints a picture that's, well, it's pretty tough to even picture. Dimly lit streets, crushing poverty.
Right. Crime, addiction, prostitution. It was rampant.
And the book uses really stark language, cities filled with
That's
evil,
right.
fear, anger, and hate. You get this profound sense of hopelessness.
It really does. It talks about young girls just trapped, men whose lives were, well, the book calls them a mess.
It lays bare that grim reality. You mentioned the conditions.
Oh, yeah. Disease-infested slums, the evils of the industrial age, moral decay. The book doesn't pull punches.
No.
It mentions shocking things like the rat pit,
Well,
where people gambled on dogs killing rats, or a 2-year-old boy performing in a saloon.
the 2-year-old.
Yeah, taught to spit out answers, even told to mash her head when asked what he'd do to his wife. It's disturbing. These details really stick with you. They show the environment.
And that's the world these incredible women stepped into. So this deep dive, it's based on excerpts from Women Who Changed the Heart of the City.
Right, the untold story of the city rescue mission movement.
It uncovers these powerful stories, often overlooked, women who chose to go into these dark places.
And their mission wasn't just, like, observing.
Right.
They were there to bring genuine hope, transformation.
Yeah, the source material asks this fundamental question. Faced with such desperate conditions, how do people of faith respond?
Exactly. And this book looks back, over 150 years to show how some truly remarkable women answered that call with action.
And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. We'll look at the incredibly challenging world they faced, share some anecdotes. The book calls them radical transformations.
They really are.
And uncover the core beliefs, the practical methods that drove their work. We're drawing right from the compelling accounts, the testimonies in the text.
What's fascinating is how the book traces the very beginnings. It points to David Naismith.
Right, the Scottish bookkeeper, early 1800s.
Yeah, he had this vision. And, some people thought he was, crazy.
Because he worked with the poor.
In his free time, yeah, in the slums. Believing he could bring about moral change. He was foundational, really, for the YMCA and the city mission movement.
And his wife, Frances Hartridge Naismith,
Yeah.
she was right there with him. The book really highlights her sacrifice.
Oh, immensely. Hardship, poor health, humiliation even. She shared his life, his relentless work.
Traveling the world, starting missions. And it notes that a lot of their support actually came from women.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's this poignant detail about her death and a widow fund being set up.
There's this bittersweet feeling expressed, like gratitude, yes,
Yeah.
but maybe if that support had been there earlier,
Well, David was alive.
maybe things would have been different for him, too. It's quite touching.
And this early work, the book argues, it was rooted in what they saw as basic Christianity.
James 1.27. Exactly. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress.
Simple, direct.
And David Naismith had this ecumenical approach, too, believing different denominations, Baptists, Congregationalists, they could work together.
They're this shared purpose,
Yeah.
helping the needy.
Yeah.
So they laid this crucial groundwork,
Yeah.
seeing the needs, stepping in even when people thought it was impossible. Crazy.
Right.
But for me, where it gets really interesting is the transformation stories. These individuals pulled from, well, the book calls it the horrible pit.
Echoing Psalm 40, the miry clay.
Exactly.
And these personal accounts, they're so compelling because they don't just describe the awful conditions, they show the profound change.
Yes.
The change that happened in people's lives and the courage it took.
Both for the missionaries and the people accepting help.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Maria Macaulay. Her story, as the book tells it, it's just powerful, raw.
She was a prostitute in New York City.
Lured by, the promise of food, clothes.
Yeah, the glitter of the saloon, which hid this brutal reality. The text even quotes a statistic like a prostitute's life expectancy was maybe 5 years back then.
5 years, wow.
She descended into deep drunkenness, living in those awful subcellars where the book says despicable acts of perversion happened.
It's hard to hear.
It is, and her path crossed with Jerry McCauley.
His background was pretty rough too, right? Ex-con, thief.
Drunkard, prize fighter, yeah. He had his own conversion first. And there's this moment in the book, practical advice they got from a Wall Street banker, Alfred Dirk Smith Hatch.
Oh.
He just told them, instead of living together, get married. Simple as that.
Practical advice. But even after leaving that life, Maria struggled a lot.
Deeply. When she first got out of the city, she felt like a total outcast.
Afraid of judgment from religious people, she thought, I'm a fallen woman, they'll never accept me.
Which tells you so much about the stigma.
Exactly. Both for the workers and the people they reached.
Yet her conversion, the book describes it with such power. It says she received him gladly.
Jesus, yeah.
And found this incredible power to lift her out of the bondage of sinful appetite. Her soul became possessed with a love for sinners.
Couldn't rest day or night, wanting to share her story.
Amazing.
And she did go back to the city. Not to her old life, but as a missionary, a Bible reader.
And the book notes she had easy access to the very places she used to know.
Tenement houses, saloons, dens of infamy. Her testimony must have carried incredible weight.
Because she'd lived it, it led many others to Christ.
Then she married Jerry in 1872. They moved and felt compelled to start another mission.
The Cremorne-McCauley mission, 1882. They prayed about it, saw the need was even worse there than on Water Street.
And the book calls their work the Macaulay experiment, right? Because of the skepticism.
Exactly. Widespread doubt about whether people who'd sunk so low could really be reformed permanently.
But they proved it was possible through their own lives and countless others.
Undeniable proof transformation was real.
Such a powerful testament. Okay, another dramatic story. Emma Whitmore.
Very different background.
Wealthy socialite. And the book says she was initially disgusted, not by the poor, but by the shallow opulence of other wealthy women.
Yeah, contrasting it with the poverty she saw. Then she felt this prompting from the Lord. She said, "Judge not. See them through the eyes of Jesus."
That changed everything for her.
It led her, reluctantly at first, to visit the Water Street mission with her husband, to see Jerry McCauley.
And the scene described there.
Ah.
Intense. Shocking.
Dark streets, curses, fighting, police clubs, sin-bedraggled people, vile smells, just a world away from her life.
And the effect on them. Profound conviction, the book says. They saw their own lives as useless.
Hung their heads in shame, no longer felt superior.
Hearing Jerry's story, seeing the transformed lives, it hit them hard. Emma even talks about wrestling with her pride, kneeling to be prayed for by a thief.
Wow. But they went back.
Repeatedly, feeling this intensity for souls. Overwhelmed by the fearful sights, yes, but also this divine force impelling her. And there's that specific anecdote, reaching the 16-year-old prostitute. Emma just put her arm around her, asked kindly, directly, "Is there any laughter down there?"
Just seeing her as a person, hurting.
That simple act of love, that direct question, it led to a breakthrough.
That really captures their approach, doesn't it? Compassion cutting through judgment.
Absolutely. And Emma went on to found the Door of Hope, showing radical compassion.
The book gives examples like taking in Hannah, the Jewish child mother with her baby.
And Vanjie, the very sick prostitute. Emma's faith that God would provide. Like when they needed more milk for the baby, she just said, "Our God is capable of sending the baby's milk."
Just trusting.
And Vanjie finding peace and faith before she died. It's so touching. Emma learned from Maria McCauley, went into those same dangerous places.
And ended up establishing a whole network, over 97 Door of Hope missions eventually.
Incredible leadership.
And these stories, they show it wasn't just one type of person doing this work. It highlights the diverse contributions.
Absolutely. Women from all sorts of backgrounds.
Yeah.
Take Fannie J. Crosby. I mean, incredibly famous, blind hymn writer.
Over 3,000 hymns.
But the book shares that in her 60s, she deliberately decided to become a mission worker. Aunt Fanny.
And she took a practical step, right? Sold hymns.
Yeah, sold hymns specifically so she could afford to live in a tenement, put herself right in the community.
Even being blind, she was hands-on. Bowery, McCauley, Door of Hope missions.
And the book emphasizes what she offered wasn't formal training. It was her presence, her love, her hope, her motherly care.
Her philosophy, quoted in the book, is so powerful. Don't just tell people their sins.
Tell them about pardon, about love.
Believe in him and never give up. She said, love counts more than anything else. It is wonderful.
Wow. And she didn't want sympathy for her blindness. Saw it as something that maybe even helped her focus, helped her memory.
Okay, gravestone.
She did what she could. So simple, but it says everything.
It really does. Incredibly impactful. Then there's Sarah Dunn Clark, Mother Clark.
In Chicago, founder of Pacific Garden Mission with her husband, the old lighthouse.
And the book notes her passion for the work maybe even exceeded her husband's at first.
Interesting.
Yeah, and after the Great Chicago Fire, the scene was just chaotic. The need for the mission was desperate, bringing order, care to these huge crowds.
And her focus was on women and children particularly.
Yes, there's that deeply affecting story of her helping a woman from the underworld whose baby had died.
Showing such compassion, arranging a funeral sermon.
And that act led to something amazing, this unexpected friendship with Annie Chambers.
Madame next door.
Yeah. Annie apparently heard the sermon from her window. Later, she befriended another couple, the Bulkleys, who lived in a former brothel right next to her.
Wow.
And this connection, started by Mother Clark's compassion, nurtured by the Bulkleys, it influenced Annie so much she eventually deeded her property for a girl's home.
That's incredible. Love reaching across huge divides.
A powerful example from the source. And Mother Clark became a spiritual mother to so many, including Mel Trotter, who became famous later.
Amazing ripple effect. Okay, Maud Benton, another extraordinary example. Her dedication.
Unbelievable longevity. 45 years as a volunteer.
At Union Rescue Mission in L.A., trained by Moody, Mother Clark, giants of the time.
And her role was way beyond just playing piano, which she also did.
The book lists it all. Street meetings, house mother, counselor, organizing the women's auxiliary.
She adapted too. WWII Victory Service Club, designing money belts for servicemen.
Whatever was needed, her method, quoted directly. Loving some mother's son or daughter into the arms of Jesus.
Simple. Profound.
And the book includes that dramatic story about Bill Stiles.
Oh yeah, the gang member, Jesse James' younger gang.
Walks into the mission carrying nitroglycerin.
And Maud's calm, faith-filled intervention, it led to his complete transformation.
His testimony is powerful in the book. Not reformation, he said, but the power of the blood of Jesus Christ, setting him free.
And he served at the mission for years afterwards.
The book makes that point, too, about the ongoing acute need for Mother Bentons. Dedicated volunteers like her, still relevant.
Absolutely. These stories show such courage. And then there's Marie Sandvik.
Unique background. Crazy kid from Norway, influenced by a revival movement there.
And she had this childhood promise she felt she had to keep.
Seeing a dark, lonely mission building, promising God she'd start a place for the poor someday.
And she did. Took a huge leap of faith. Started the Marie Sandvik Center in an old tavern.
Relying totally on God's provision, day by day. Based on Philippians 4:1, my God shall supply every need.
Yeah, the book tells a story about needing a piano, trusting, and one showing up.
Amazing. And she faced real danger, too.
Oh, yeah. Gun pointed at her, chased by addicts. But the book describes her courage, standing her ground, even commanding a man with a gun in Jesus' name to drop it.
Wow, her focus was really on children and single mothers, wasn't it?
Recognizing their specific needs, their vulnerability.
These stories just paint this picture of love in action, coming from such different lives, using whatever they had.
And the book makes it clear underpinning so much of this was prayer and partnership, the strength they found together.
A really moving story is Emily Trotter, Mel Trotter's mother.
Yes, difficult life, married to a drunk, heartbroken, seeing her son follow that same path.
But her prayer for him, for all her kids, it was just persistent, unrelenting.
And the book includes Mel's testimony later, feeling the hand of my mother, her prayers always following him, even in the depths.
And she lived to see them answered. All her children, 3 sons becoming ministers.
What a testament to persistent prayer, its long-term impact.
Then there's Estelle Phillips, foundational Pacific Garden Mission with her husband Cliff before starting a mission in Fresno.
Right, and the book shares that challenge they faced, financial difficulty, and that question from the board member.
Are we going to do what we can do, or are we going to believe what God can do? Really puts it in perspective.
Estelle is depicted as having this quiet strength, immense compassion, especially for women and children, non-judgmental.
Always listening, praying. The book mentions she was often alone while Cliff worked long hours.
Finding peace, writing poetry, relying on her faith. And that faith endured right to the end, remembering Bible verses, songs, when not much else was clear.
Her legacy, influencing 22 missions, the book notes.
Amazing.
And the source briefly mentions others too. Helen Sunday, Billy Sunday's widow, Continuing ministry, Beulah Bulkley.
Overcoming reluctance, living and working in a former brothel with her husband Dave, helping women there, connecting with Annie Chambers.
It's just clear from the book, countless women-operated missions were these crucial, maybe less recognized partners. Their impact was huge.
So if we pull all these incredible stories together, what are the main takeaways? What's the book emphasizing about this movement, these women?
Well, first, the source absolutely shows transformation is possible, regularly. Even from that horrible pit, the miry clay.
Right, and these women came from such diverse backgrounds, wealthy, blind, former addicts, immigrants.
Showing, as the book illustrates, that anyone can be called, anyone can be used in this work.
And their willingness to step into dangerous, socially difficult places. That took immense courage, rooted in deep faith.
And their approach, this is key, it blended the spiritual salvation, hope, with very practical help.
Food, shelter, jobs, community. The mission wasn't just a church meeting.
No, it was a salvage department, a haven of hope, a relief society, the book calls them.
And the driving force, again and again in the book, love, compassion.
Think of Fanny Crosby.
Yeah.
Love counts more than anything else. It is wonderful.
Or Maud Benton, loving some mother's son or daughter into the arms of Jesus. They weren't just condemning evil.
They were overcoming it with good, through radical love.
And that legacy, it continues from generation to generation through the missions that changed lives, the people inspired.
I think the book's core point is that these were often untold stories, maybe less recognized than the men.
Yeah, definitely.
But their courage, their faith, their practical compassion, it had a profound, lasting impact on cities, on individuals.
What stands out, thinking about all this, is how relevant it still feels. The problems they faced.
Poverty, addiction, broken families, exploitation.
Sadly, yeah. Still very real challenges in cities everywhere.
It really does raise a question for us today, doesn't it? These women, they weren't distant saints.
No.
The book shows them as real people, with fears, limitations, different backgrounds. But they chose to act with courage, with compassion, right where they were.
Their stories challenge us, I think, to consider what are the dark places in our own communities or in the world around us, places needing light, needing love.
The source material highlights that they often felt overwhelmed, afraid, inadequate even.
But they were compelled by what one called a divine force, or they simply chose, like Fanny Crosby's gravestone says.
Do what they could.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't solve everything overnight, but they started somewhere. One life, one act of kindness at a time.
So here's something to think about. What's one difficult place, one seemingly impossible situation, maybe in your own community, your sphere of influence, where you could choose to step in?
Even just to do what you could and trust that something powerful, something transformative can happen.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and that it both inspires and equips you to serve the least, the last, and the lost in Jesus' name. You can find the show notes for this episode and subscribe to our newsletter at rescuemissions.cityvision.edu. If you would like to learn more about City Vision University's courses and degree programs, visit our website at www.cityvision.edu.